All right, if you filed an extension, you have a little over a month away to get your tax return filed to the IRS. Now, the IRS estimates millions of taxpayers have filed. Now, if you were one of those taxpayers, CPA Kimberly Washington is here to let you know everything you need to know. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. Now, the first question for those who filed a tax extension, when is the tax deadline?
Right, so you have actually until October 17th. So that is something to keep in mind. That's for the IRS. Now keep in mind here in the state of Louisiana, if you did file an extension, you have until November 15th to get those state tax returns in. Keep in mind also if you have a business such as an S corporation, a partnership, pay attention because in September 15th, those deadlines are greatly approaching. So you do want to keep that in mind if you do have a business at this time.
Let me ask you this. What happens if you file after the deadline?
Right. So, of course, you may have some penalties, but it really does depend on your personal tax situation. One thing that you do want to keep in mind is that if you do have a tax balance, there's chances are, of course, that you'll owe, and of course, they'll charge you a penalty. But if you expect a refund, one thing you do want to keep in mind is that the IRS will not charge a penalty if you expected to get a refund at that time.
Oh, no charging penalties.
Yes.
We love that. Now, what if you need to file but don't have your records?
Right, and of course that could happen sometimes, right? So if you don't have your records, one thing that you can do, you can head over to irs.gov, you can log into your account, of course, and you can pull down your 1099s, mortgage interest statements, student loan deduction, whatever the case may be, interest statements rather, and you can get all of your information in one place. If you are a business person, of course, you want to pull down your bank statements and start putting your records together so that you can file.
Now, some folks did file, but they say, look, I still owe the IRS. So what should you do if you do owe money to the IRS?
Right, so don't delay. Put something in place. Some things that you can do at this time, you can contact the IRS, pick up the phone, see whether or not you can qualify for what's called a payment arrangement. That's the first step that you want to take. They provide different options as it relates to payment arrangements. And another thing, if you have little assets and little income, you may also want to consider what's called an offer in compromise. And this is where you offer the IRS some money and they'll compromise the rest. But there are different options that you can take at this time.
Giving us everything you need to know to save your bottom dollar.
Yes.
Kimberly Washington, as always, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Let's go.